Hey Nick Nation, welcome back to Cooking with Nique. It's your girl Jonique making it look unique. And in today's video, I'm going to be making chicken noodle soup. So as you can see, I freshly washed my chicken in some lime and vinegar. Make sure you wash your chicken, please. Okay guys, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your freshly washed chicken, as you can see here. And be careful because this is hot water. So I'm going to get me a spoon. And I'm going to put it in slowly because I'm not trying to get burned. And you're just going to cook the chicken. Since this is chicken breast, it should be very easy to cook compared to drumsticks. So I would suggest that you only cook it for about 7 to 8 minutes. You don't want to overcook the chicken because once you put it in the soup, it's going to continue to cook and you don't want it to be overcooked. Okay, so these are some of the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need a green bell pepper. You can do whatever bell pepper you like, but the green is the best. You need some onions. These are yellow onions, as well as some scallions. You can get this from Walmart or your local supermarket. You can get pumpkin. Pumpkin, you can get this from your local supermarket because I can never find it at Walmart. Corn. Fresh corn is the best corn. Some potatoes. These are regular classic potatoes. Carrots. And this is going to be the star of the soup. So this is very important, as well as you're going to need some flour to make your dumpling. Now that the chicken has cooked, I'm going to add in my corn. As you can see, I actually peeled the pumpkin and cut it up into little cubes. It is very easier to do this way and boil, as well as I chopped up some carrots, so we're going to just throw that in the pot. A rule of thumb is not to put a lot of water at first. You want to make sure everything is boiled. However, you don't want your soup to be watery. As well as for potatoes, put your potatoes in last because they do take long to cook. However, you don't want them to be mushy and overcooked by putting them in first. But as you can see, I chopped up the chicken because I felt that it would be easier to cook this way. Okay, so as you can see, I did take the chicken out. Due to its chicken breast, you don't want to overcook the chicken. So I did cook it out, take it out to allow the veggies to cook properly and get softer. As you can see, it's boiling nicely. So now I'm going to add, okay, now that it's been 5 minutes, you're going to take your seasoning, pour it in the pot. This is the onions, the peppers, the scallions, the potatoes. While we wait for the veggies to cook, we're going to make the spinners. So for the spinners, I'm only using a cup of flour. You can change this based upon how much you want to make. I'm only making a small portion, so that's why I'm only using 1 cup. I'm sorry that you can't really see it that well in this clip due to the ring light, but I'm just measuring it out and pouring it in the bowl. Next, you're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. You want to make sure you season dumplings properly. You don't want to over season it and you don't want to under season it as well. My little trick, I took 1 teaspoon of salt and I'm just sprinkling it 2 times to add more seasoning. So you want to make sure you mix everything together. Mix your salt, your flour. Then you're going to add some purified water. Use a little bit of water at a time. You don't want to pour too much water because the more water you pour, the more flour you're going to have to use in order for it to create the doughy-like consistency. So as you can see, I'm just mixing everything together, adding more water as needed. And once you get like this pasty type of consistency, you can start adding a little bit of flour. I would suggest to add a little bit of flour. You're going to start kneading and manipulating the dough. So as you can see, I'm adding some flour and kneading it to the consistency of how I want the spinners to come out. Okay, so now we're gonna put some more water in it, just a tad. Then we're going to put in the cock soup. So we're gonna let that boil a little bit. Put the chicken back in. And we're gonna go get the dumpling. We're going to take the dumpling. You're gonna take some, you're gonna need some flour to put on your hands while you're manipulating it. It'll make it easier, so you just put a little bit on your hands like this. You're gonna roll it into a ball. Make sure your hands are clean. And you're just gonna spin it. Like this. You're gonna throw those in the pot. Repeat the same thing. Throw it in the pot. Okay, so now that we have all the spinners in, we're just gonna let this boil and make everything marinate together. And we're gonna just finish it off with season it, but let it boil, let the dumplings float to the top. Be sure when you're making the soup, don't put too much water. You can make that mistake and you can make it very watery. So yeah, we're just gonna let this boil and then, okay, so next we're gonna season it. So you're gonna take your pepper, do a couple sprinkles over it. Take some salt, sprinkle it. I will take a little bit of hot sauce to add an extra flavor. A couple drops, 1, 2, 3. 3 drops. Since I didn't have fresh thyme, we're gonna do some thyme in there. Just sprinkle a little bit. And we're gonna let that simmer and boil and add flavor to the soup. Next, we're gonna put some sazon in it. Some sazon. And the soup should be finished once the dumplings are fully cooked. So it should be almost done. You just sprinkle a little bit like that. Let that boil in a little bit. You're going to know when your soup is cooked once all the dumpling is cooked and your soup starts to thicken. You don't want your soup to be watery, so allow it to absorb all that starch from the spinners to make the soup nice and thick, depending on your preference, of course. And this is the finished product. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. This looks so delicious, and I hope you guys enjoyed this chicken noodle soup recipe. Bye.